Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews. You can find our band interviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I've been trying to post a lot of content in relation to, interviews and live video, but I've been kind of slacking on the album reviews, so I'm hoping to get back into a lot of them. I'm posting 2 today, and I'm hopefully getting some more out this weekend, so be on the lookout for those. And if you haven't checked out the channel yet, go check out the other stuff. I'll be posting an interview at around 5 o'clock tonight, so go give that one a watch. Homies and Idle Wave, always glad to have Guy back on. He's awesome. And check out the other review I posted with this one, Woes. They're a band from the UK, and their new record, Awful Truth. But tonight we're gonna be talking about Dollskin's newest record, Love Is Dead and We Killed Her. So, I had not heard about this band. I've heard of the name in passing, but for some reason, my brain was like, let me not check them out. But I am extremely disappointed in myself for not giving them a listen sooner. And I'm kind of glad that YouTube gave me this band as a recommendation. I had seen their name in passing in terms of like seeing their name at Warped Tour, but never really gave them a listen. So I'm going into this band fresh. If you want me to review their older record, let me know in the comments. I'd love to go give that one a listen. And even if you don't, I will probably go listen to it anyway, so because I was really stoked on this one. But I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on it, go through some pros and cons, and then finish it out with an overall rating. So the first track is called Don't Cross My Path, and this one, I mean, I had listened to the singles that they had released, but this track is the first track off the record, and I was a little bit worried because the song was very slow, and especially at the beginning, and it kind of worried me because I felt like the other 2 tracks were very like lively, very interesting, very fun, energetic, and this one just seemed a little bit bland. But I couldn't be even more wrong on this track. I definitely feel like it picked up the energy not much longer after I started thinking that it was going to be very slow, channeling a lot of great energy. I feel like a lot of strong punk vibes are felt in this track, which is definitely awesome. And I think that another cool feature is just a lot of the different vocal techniques. There's some really cool screams, there's some awesome groove vocals, and just the dual vocal prowess in general, I feel like is really awesome. I checked out their Wikipedia page, and I know that all of them do vocals live, so I was curious if I know one of them is definitely the lead singer, and I feel like their lead guitar player, I feel like also lends her voice on a good amount of these tracks as well. But I really thought this one was, again, a rocky start, but I really feel like they pulled it out in the end. That last minute of this song was fantastic, and it was just one that surprised me because I felt like off the bat I was like, this is a little slow, this isn't maybe something that I was interested in, but I'm glad I gave it more of a listen. I really kind of got through that first sort of portion of the song to get into something really awesome, unique, and interesting, and stuff that I probably haven't heard in a very long time. So we're gonna move into track number 2, which is the title track, Love Is Dead and We Killed Her. It's one of my favorite tracks, and god dang, this is a catchy one as well. Love the drum and bass riffs on this track. It really lays down an awesome framework to build off of in this track, which they definitely do. Vocally is very solid. I think guitar work is very solid as well, but that chorus is primo stuff. Love it. The harmonized vocals are just the cherry on top on this track, and I think this one was just really well executed, especially considering just the juxtaposition between the first track and this one. The first track is very much punk based, and this one feels a little bit a little bit more melodic, and I feel like a little bit more on that sort of pop punky sort of feel, maybe sort of like more alternative, and I really think they brought it in this track without a doubt. So we're gonna move into track number 3, which is Mark My Words. I heard this one before as well. I know this one was one of the singles that they had released, but this one was great. I love the darker undertones of this track. There's another track off this record that really kind of pulls from that as well. But this one was really cool. It reminds me a lot of like Pierce the Veil, even a little bit of old school Chiodos as well. Maybe not in that sort of avant-garde range that Chiodos does, but I feel like, channeling that sort of emo vibe, and they really brought it. I think the chorus is huge. I love that it's filled with some awesome hooks. I think this whole record has some really great hooks on it, but this one in general I really liked. I also appreciate just that the bass and the drums are at the forefront of this track. I feel like they don't really place a lot of pressure on the guitar work to be the forefront, and I think that it just creates for a very awesome song. I think the layer vocals are really awesome, especially in the pre-chorus. I just like how they're panned and just how they're done vocally. I think it is very solid, and there's this really cool guitar solo at around the 2 minutes and 4 second mark to around the 2 minutes and 25 second mark. Really solid work. Again, one of my favorite tracks off the record. So we're moving into track number 4, which is No Fear. This one's one of my favorites, and I think this one took me by surprise, and I wasn't really sold on this one upon first listen, but as I've listened to this many times now, this one is really cool. It's got this poppy sort of upbeat vibe to it, which is a nice contradiction to Mark My Words, which was a little bit more on the sort of emo like sort of side, which is really cool. Having the switch off of vocals is awesome. I think their guitar player does the vocals on this track. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like their vocals are just that much different in my mind that I feel like their lead guitarist did the vocals on this one. The chorus is huge on this track. I think whoever is doing the production work, I believe it was Mike Green, who also did like Paramore, I think, at one point in time, and I also feel like he did like the most couple recent like Pierce the Veil records, and I love Mike Green. I think he does some fantastic work, and again, this couldn't be more understated in this review, but definitely really cool. Range of vocals are really awesome too. I think on those larger notes that she belts out, I think they just hit and they sit super well, which is awesome. I think just having a band that has a lot of talent, not only vocally but also instrumentally, is a huge thing, and I think that the way that they were able to switch off in this track really utilizes and shows off their abilities as a band in general. So we're going to move into track number 5, which is Out of My Mind. Easily one of my favorite tracks off the record. It just grooves. I love the mix of bands kind of that reminded me when I was listening to this track, like Pierce the Veil as well, White Stripes, a little bit of Paramore here and there, but I would say definitely more along the lines of that sort of bluesy, sort of emo-y sort of stuff, which is awesome. The instrumentals are fantastic. It definitely has got this cool kind of groove and beat to it. The vocals are awesome. They feel very like just really punchy, really energetic, and they go with the vibe of the song, which is awesome. Again, one of my favorite tracks off the record, probably one of the best ones as well. And I like that they still keep that sort of punk feel to it, because this is a band that really has been driven by a lot of pop punk and pop rock influences, and or punk rock influences. I don't know why I said pop rock, but really, that's a lot of what drives their spirit in this band, and I feel like you can hear it in tracks like these where, it is at the forefront. It's really punchy, it's really aggressive, and you can feel that in the songs that they write. So definitely give this one a listen. It's out. They released a music video for it. It's tight. Fantastic track. So we're gonna move into track number 6, which is Ink Stains. This one's another favorite one of mine as well. If you're noticing a trend, there's a lot of favorites off this record, just because I feel like just some well-written songs, and again, this one is no short of that. Just again, the cool grit, the groove in this track is fantastic. I like the change up in the chorus. They did a really unique job of keeping it interesting. It has this really cool sort of punk feel, but also being very melodic, and I think that the juxtaposition between the two is uncanny. And I also think that the most times when you think of punk music, you think of just kind of like, straightforward, kind of like punchy in your face sort of stuff. And that is this track, but also I think just layered with some of the melodic like finish that they got going on here is just awesome. A moment in the track that I thought was very interesting that kind of, utilizes both that sort of punk feel, but also has that melodic moment is around the 1 minute and 55 second mark to around the 2 minutes and 30 second mark. It was something that I wasn't expecting, but I think it really works with the song, and it's a very feisty track, and I think that they really brought it on this one without a doubt. So we're gonna move it into track number 7, which is Nasty Man. This one is another favorite of mine as well, and this one just is a groove festival. I love it. Just nothing short of greatness on this track. It was one of those ones that as soon as the guitar riff started, I was already sold. I like that the guitar riff and the bass riff were kind of like imitating each other. I thought that was really cool. Some of my favorite riffs off this record easily. And I liking the darker tonality. I think it really kind of emulates a song earlier, Mark My Words. I feel like those songs are kind of in the same sort of vein as well. And it really is cool. As well as that, I think it also reflects a lot of the sort of darker lyricism going on in this track. And I think that just as a songwriter, I think that is really, smart songwriting, because it is playing off of the music that they are creating. And so I think that is really awesome. And there's this really cool kind of jazzy, bluesy sort of riff part and around the 2 minutes and 20 second mark. It ends at the 2 minutes and 50 second mark. Again, showing off their diversity, their uniqueness as a band, and I think they brought this one as well. So we're gonna move into track number 8, which is Your Idols Are Dying. If I had to say one song off of this record that feels the most punk, I would say it's definitely this one. You can hear a lot of the strong sort of punk influence in this one. It's got some fantastic energy to it, and it's super solid. I feel like it's very straightforward, except for at around the 1 minute and 43 second mark to around the 2 minutes and 35 second mark. There's this really interesting, hard to kind of put my foot down on, but really interesting, like just part, not only vocally but just like instrumentally, very unique stuff. It really honestly flustered me because I was just unsure of how to explain it in a review. So definitely give this one a listen, because I think it's unique. I think it's interesting, especially that one part is just threw me for a loop. And again, a fantastic track. So we're gonna move into track number 9, which is Empty House. This one's one of my favorites as well. Instrumentation on this track is killer. I love the divergent bass and guitar riffs in the verse. I love how like the bass kind of riffs off of the guitar work and vice versa. I think that is super cool, and I hope that they utilize that a little bit more in future tracks. But the chorus is super powerful and strong, and I love that because I feel like they really brought the energy in that. But probably my favorite part is the bridge. I would say more specifically at the 2 minutes and 27 second mark to around the 2 minutes and 52 second mark. I think just these huge notes and that guitar solo really just brought it home for me. And I feel like they put a lot of energy into this one, just not only like emotionally but also just like sonically. I think they put a lot of like powerful shit into one track, and I think it really worked out on that one. So we're gonna move it into track number 10, When They Show Their Teeth. This one is a fun, upbeat, groovy track, and I think is a nice comparison to, again, Empty House, and I love the balance of the two. I think it is very much different from the rest of the tracks off the record, and I think vocally, I think it is very solid. It's one of my favorites vocally as well. I think it has this really cool drive to it, and I also like that this one feels very much along the blues line of music, and I just love the sort of blues riffing going on, guitar riffing going on. I thought it was very cool, and just instrumentally it feels very much along those lines. So definitely interesting how they churn this one out. but nonetheless, I thought it was really solid. So we're gonna move into the last track, which is track number 11. This one is Homesick. This one's one of my favorites, and I think they really ended it out on a strong note. The beginning portion, especially the guitar part, reminded me of another song, Paramore's Monster. I wouldn't say it's exact, but it definitely is very reminiscent of that. And I feel like this one, amongst a lot of the other songs off this record, feels very much emotionally connected with the instrumentation and the vocal lines and the lyricism. I think that they were able to kind of create a very awesome trifecta in this track, and I think that the way that they are delivering the vocals in this one and the way that the instrumentals kind of back up that sort of emotional state, I think is very awesome, and I think it is very powerful in that respect. I love that they have a lot of different aspects of their genre that they're pulling from, anything from like punk music. I would say punk's a little bit muted on this one, but definitely more rock. The alternative stuff, I feel like they're really pulling from that as well. I think from a writing perspective, I think it's very solid. From a groove perspective, I think it's solid as well. And I just love the layered vocals sprinkled throughout this track. I think it is a great closing track. I think one that combines a lot of familiar aspects of the record into one solid track. So I'm going to go through some pros and cons. I really don't have any cons about this record as well. I think it is very solid. I think what they're doing here is very unique, and I was definitely floored by how good it was. Some pros, I think it's diverse. They cover anything from blues to some like hard rock stuff, to like pop punk, to like emo stuff. So it's really all over the map, and I think that's what makes it awesome. Is not like one cookie cutter track. I think they really made it diverse, they made it interesting, and they made it unique. And I think that's all you can ask for as somebody that does a lot of reviews and does a lot of different records. I think they really brought it vocally, and then instrumentally, I think they really brought it as well. They really created some really different, diverse stuff, and one song isn't very similar to the next, and I think that is very awesome. Definitely an album of the year contender. I'm gonna get that right out of the way. I think it's definitely up there. My mind could change, but I definitely feel like their writing, the material that they have, is very unique, and I think it will stand these couple months until we get into album of the year. But my overall rating for Dollskin's Love Is Dead and We Killed Her, I'm going to be giving it a 9.8 out of 10. Again, another fantastic record. Please check them out if you haven't. They're currently on tour with Newfound Glory, Real Friends, I believe the early November. And I don't know if there's another band on that tour, but anyway, just because I'm getting old and I'll forget it, but you should check them out because they're opening and they're a killer band that I am so sorry and so remiss that I haven't checked out. But I'd love to interview you guys in the future. So if you guys come back to the Philly area, let me know. I would definitely like to get something set up. But let me know in the comments what you think about this record. I think it is unique, it's diverse, and I think also the fact that it is an all-women band, I think, is also awesome. I don't see too many full female bands. I think that is really awesome and something to be noted and something to be shared with to you guys as well. But let me know what your favorite track is. Let me know what you think about the record. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? I'd love to know your thoughts on it. And if you enjoyed the review, make sure to like, share, subscribe. It means a lot. Thank you guys so much for the support over these past couple months. It's been fantastic. Hopefully there's been a lot of great content for you guys to check out, and I'll be continuing to pump out some awesome stuff in the coming days, weeks, months, future, all that sort of goodness. So like I said, my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.